40 kilometers from Srinagar, the summer capital of Kashmir, these armed foreign mercenaries were photographed in 1994. It was during this period that the first Afghan militants entered Jammu and Kashmir to fight what they call a holy war, or Jihad, against India. Since 1989, terrorism and militancy have ravaged the state of Kashmir. The Indian contention has been that these armed terrorists have been exported from Pakistan to conduct a proxy war.
मैं ये पूरे एतमाद के साथ आर्मी दुश्मन के पिस्टल रेंज में ये बात आपको पूरे आज़म, सुकून और एतमाद के साथ कहता हूँ। हम फ्रीडम ऑफ कश्मीर की जंग अब नहीं लड़ रहे हैं, बल्कि डिसइंटीग्रेशन ऑफ इंडिया का जंग लड़ रहे हैं।
The ostensible battle of all militant groups has been to liberate Kashmir from what they say is illegal Indian rule. To India, however, they represent Kalashnikov-toting symbols of cross-border terrorism. Travelling in this cavalcade of official vehicles is a minister in the central government of New Delhi. The paraphernalia comes not only with his position as a minister, but because he's a descendant of a political lineage whose fortunes have been inextricably linked to the history of modern Kashmir. 29-year-old Omar Abdullah is the son of the elected Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Farooq Abdullah. His grandfather was the legendary Sheikh Abdullah, known by all Kashmiris as Sher-e-Kashmir, the Lion of Kashmir. Sheikh Abdullah had fought for a special status for Jammu and Kashmir, a status which was granted and incorporated in the constitution of the state and of the Indian Union. This called for a measure of autonomy which no other state in the Indian Union enjoyed. As Omar pays his respects at the mausoleum of his late grandfather, it's ironical that what was once a pilgrimage site for Kashmiris is today heavily guarded by armed policemen. The gun-toting security around the grave symbolizes the agenda that the terrorists have set. The aim is to provoke a strong backlash from the Indian paramilitary forces, and the desecration of the mausoleum of Sheikh Abdullah remains a real possibility in this surcharged atmosphere.
There is no question about the fact that a low-intensity war, not a proxy war any longer, a low-intensity war is being waged against India by the military of Pakistan. And that is a fact that, unfortunately, the world at large continues to turn a blind eye to. I fail to understand why the world over they must feel that they have to equate India and Pakistan together. They can't seem to understand that one is a thriving democracy and the other has for most of its history been a dictatorship. They fail to recognize that without the active support of Pakistan, militancy here would die.
The Indian argument has been that exported terrorism from Pakistan has been one substantive reason why Jammu and Kashmir remains to this day a troubled spot. More than half a century ago, in 1947, when the Pakistani-backed invasion of Kashmir took place, Sheikh Abdullah was in the forefront of the battle with the Indian army to throw out the intruders.
The people of Kashmir have passed through untold miseries during the last 15 months. They consider themselves part and parcel of this great country. They will never forget India and its gallant Jawans who have been with them through thick and thin.
The history of Jammu and Kashmir has had a crucial bearing in contemporary events. Since 1846, a lineage of Hindu Dogra kings have been rulers of Jammu and Kashmir. Only months after India and Pakistan achieved independence, and in the face of rapid advance of tribal raiders from Pakistan, the government of Jammu and Kashmir sought military assistance from the Indian Dominion. On the 26th of October 1947, Maharaja Hari Singh, then ruler of this state, formally acceded Kashmir to the Indian Union. The UN became seized of this dispute because the Indian Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, complained to it of Pakistan's military attack after Kashmir had acceded to India. Subsequently, India agreed to a referendum, but only in terms of relevant UN resolutions that specified the government of Pakistan agrees to withdraw its troops from the state. Since Kashmir was legally already a part of India, what this meant is that Pakistan would first have to relinquish control of 5,000 square miles that they had overrun, the so-called Azad Kashmir, which India refers to as Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Since this did not take place, the dispute remains unresolved. In Jammu, at the Hari Palace, it was in this very room that Maharaja Hari Singh had signed the instrument of accession. Today, Ajatashatru Singh, grandson of the late Maharaja, is a minister in the Jammu and Kashmir state government. Ajatashatru, like many others, underscores the foundation of Kashmir's multi-ethnic makeup.
Most of the valley itself was actually a churning point for Kashmir Shaivism and Sufism. So I disagree with some people who say that it has not been liberal. I think the people in Kashmir, and especially the Muslim brothers there, have been more liberal than any other state.
Pakistan's claim on Kashmir has been based on the demographic makeup of the state, its majority Muslim population. But the multi-ethnic composition of Kashmir is evident in its geography. The barren but astonishing landscape of Ladakh is predominantly Buddhist. The province of Jammu has a predominantly Hindu population, and of course the valley where the majority population is Muslim. The rationale of Pakistan's very existence has been the two-nation theory, which divided India in 1947 and created a separate homeland for Muslims of the subcontinent. India, on the other hand, has consistently maintained that with over 140 million Muslims, India is home to the second largest Muslim population in the world after Indonesia. The fabric of India's secularism is based on multi-ethnic plurality, a coexistence of different faiths, religions, and cultures. For India, Kashmir has always been a symbol of this triumph of India's secular credentials.
In 47, when the rest of the country was burning, Mahatma Gandhi, no less a person, pointed to Kashmir as the shining example of secularism and tolerance, which is not to say that we are no longer a tolerant community or that Kashmir is not a tolerant place. It's just that elements have infiltrated into Kashmir that have tried to give the impression to the rest of the world that Kashmiris as a community, and by that I mean the Muslim Kashmiris, are no longer tolerant of other religions, which is not true.
Kashmir always represented a unique strain of liberal Islam called Kashmiriyat. Its basis was in the growth of Sufi tradition, a mystical philosophy that preached harmony. The Hindus in Kashmir referred to these Muslim Sufi saints as rishis. The ideological fountainhead of the modern Kashmiri mind was symbolized by Charar-e-Sharif. This shrine, built in the name of Sheikh Nuruddin, a renowned Muslim poet saint, is revered equally by Hindus and Muslims alike. As Ghulam Qadir enters the shrine, he can feel the absence of the thousands of Kashmiri Hindus who once used to flock to it. Hundreds of miles away in Jammu, writer and poet Agni Shekhar, once a resident of the valley, articulates the refusal of Kashmir's Islam to collaborate with fundamentalism.
Kashmir has no aptitude for gun. Kashmir is known for its Sufis, its culture, its contribution to literature, to aesthetics, to poetics, to arts, fine arts, and unfortunately that Kashmir has been killed. Secularism in Kashmir has been killed. It has been murdered.
In 1995, this shrine was burnt down by Afghan militants led by Mast Gul. In the blaze that followed, almost every house in Charar-e-Sharif was razed to the ground. Ghulam Qadir's bookshop was one of the first structures to burn down.
अगर गवर्नमेंट कोशिश करेगी और यहाँ के जो लोग हैं गवर्नमेंट के लोग जो उन पर बड़े बड़े हुकाम है वो अगर कोशिश करेंगे वो तब तक बेकार की कोशिश होगी जब तक न यहाँ के लोगों को एतमाद में लिया जाएगा, कश्मीरी कौम को एतमाद में लिया जाएगा और उनके साथ मिल बैठ कर बात की जाएगी। फिर इन्हें जो यहाँ से भागे हैं इनको फिर यहाँ लाकर बसाया जा सकता है।
Today, the shrine is being rebuilt, but the people of Kashmir realize that it will need more than a physical rebuilding of the shrine to bring back that unifying bond to this land. In 1990, the religious head of Srinagar's Jama Masjid and a celebrated Islamic scholar, Mirwais Maulvi Farooq, was gunned down by militants who opposed his moderate stand on Kashmir in the face of calls for an immediate accession to Pakistan. Today, his son, 27-year-old Mirwais Omar Farooq, has taken on his spiritual mantle. He is also the head of a group of organizations, the Hurriyat Conference, which is spearheading a move to resolve the Kashmir issue.
We feel that yes, India and Pakistan are the two important parties concerning the issue of Kashmir, but the most important party are the people of Kashmir, and their voice has to be heard, and unfortunately we have not been given yet a patient hearing by the world community.
Militancy in this state took a different turn after the end of the Afghan war. Sophisticated weapons and mercenaries were funneled into the Indian side of Kashmir. Security experts maintain that this militancy is partly funded and patronized by the likes of Osama bin Laden. An insurgency in the state has the active support of the Pakistani government.
I think the situation has changed. It's not a proxy war. It is not a homegrown insurgency movement that is being supported from across the border. It is now an across-the-border conflict that is being thrust on the people of J&K.
There have been allegations of human rights violations by Indian troops stationed in Kashmir. But in the face of ruthless militants who indulge in massacres determined to arouse communal violence and create a divide, the paramilitary forces have had an unenviable task. Militancy has also meant that the ethnic composition of the valley has altered dramatically. Almost all Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits who have lived in the Muslim-dominated Srinagar valley for centuries, have been forced to flee their homes. The Pandits have been relocated in camps in Jammu and Delhi. Living in makeshift camps, the Kashmiri Pandits are desperate to retain their links with their culture. They continue to celebrate their rituals on the river banks, almost as if they are clinging to their cultural roots. 31-year-old Rajiv Kaul fled from his village in Anantnag in 1990. But Rajiv and thousands like him realize that the Kashmir problem can only be resolved if the Pandits are allowed to return to their homeland.
कश्मीर को हमको जाना है 10 साल के बाद 15 साल के बाद 20 अगर 50 साल भी लग जाएंगे ये हम वर्ल्ड को बताते हैं कश्मीरी पंडित को श्रीनगर कश्मीर जाना है कश्मीर ये जाएगा वहां रहेगा अपने गांव में रहेगा अपने शहर में रहेगा अपनी बस्ती में रहेगा अपने तीर्थ स्थान पर हमको जाना है
These refugees today are a bitter lot.
कैसेट मंगवाए गए फिल्में दिखाई गई और नौजवान पौध जो थी नई नस्ल थी जिनके साथ हम पढ़ते थे हम खेलते थे हम फुटबॉल खेलते थे उनका ब्रेन वॉश किया गया उसने वो भाईचारा छोड़ दिया उसने भी दाढ़ी बनाई उसने भी कुरान शरीफ लगाया लेकिन जहाँ तक कुरान शरीफ कुरान करीम का ताल्लुक है अगर गौर से देखा जाएगा तो इसकी तालीम जो है वो किसी दूसरे मजहब पर हमला नहीं कर सकते हैं किसी का हक नहीं छीनते हैं लेकिन हुआ इसके बरक्स क्योंकि उसको तालीम से कोई मतलब नहीं था उनको उग्रवाद से था
It's the tragic lives of children which is most impacted by the violence. In Kashmir, these children have been taught to sing songs in praise of those who have been killed. In the camps of Jammu, a whole new generation of Hindu Kashmiris is growing up, a generation which has never seen their homeland, the Valley of Kashmir. For the common man in Kashmir, militancy has had a direct bearing on his livelihood. Ghulam Nabi Bakhtu has had to convert his boat, which once took the tourists around the famous Dal Lake, into a ferry for vegetables and goods.
अभी हम सोचते हैं हम ये छोड़ देगा मगर ये हमको छोड़ता नहीं है क्यों जो इसका आदत हमारा हो गया है दूसरा काम करने का दिल नहीं करता है हम बोलते हैं हाँ टूरिस्ट आएगा तो यही काम करेगा अभी हमारा ये शिकारा टैक्सी शिकारा था हमने अभी दूसरा शिकारा लोकल शिकारा बना दिया था इसका
Ghulam Nabi Bakhtu and thousands like him find themselves caught in the crossfire between the government and the militants.
इसका हाल तो अभी कोई पता नहीं चलता है एंड क्या होगा इधर एंड का तो कोई पता नहीं है लास्ट में क्या बनेगा यहाँ अभी देखो कितना परेशानी लोगों को रहता है अभी देखो कहीं बोलता है इधर माइनस फट गया है इतना आदमी लोग मर गया वहाँ तो मरता है सिविल मगर हम तो कुछ नहीं कर सकता है यहाँ भी बंदूक है उनके हाथ में भी बंदूक है हमारे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है हम क्या करेगा हम उनका बोलेगा इनके साथ हो जाएगा ये इनको बोलेगा कुछ वो बिगड़ जाते हैं हमारे ऊपर क्यों गन के आगे कुछ नहीं चलता है किसी को भी
Scarred by militant violence, Kashmiris are looking for a solution out of the impasse. Omar Abdullah suggests an autonomy package which was once negotiated by his grandfather, Sheikh Abdullah, and which his father, Dr. Farooq Abdullah, promised the people in elections held to the state in 1998. A package which will give Jammu and Kashmir jurisdiction over almost all administrative matters other than defense, security and foreign affairs.
We made this demand in 96 before we were even ready to contest elections. Those who remember will know that in 96 we refused to contest parliamentary elections because we were not assured by the then central government as to what steps they were going to take. And the Prime Minister, in an address to the nation, said that where autonomy is concerned, short of Azadi, the sky is the limit. Now this is a Prime Minister on record having said this.
For others, the solution lies in facilitating a dialogue.
There can be two approaches towards the problem. One is the implementation of the resolutions of the United Nations, which call for a plebiscite. And the other is an alternative negotiated settlement. That means a dialogue concerning all the three parties. And I think that's much more practical in the times because considering the fact that we have Kashmir right now, it's so many segments, so many areas. So we would definitely like to have a representation from all the people.
There are some who seek a more permanent solution. They point to the mountains of Kargil. Here in 1999, a bitter armed conflict between India and Pakistan had taken place. And in the valleys and mountaintops of these craggy ranges exists an invisible boundary, the so-called line of control, sanctified after the 1971 war between India and Pakistan. Perhaps it is the formalization of this boundary, giving it a de jure recognition, making it a permanent boundary between India and Pakistan, which may signal the beginning of the resolution to the Kashmir issue, a resolution made even more imperative due to a growing concern in the world that Kashmir can be a nuclear flashpoint.
As far as India is concerned, we have maintained from May 11, 1998, when India carried out its nuclear tests, that India's nuclear weapons have only one function, a principal primary function, which is to deter the use of a similar capability by an adversary. But the flip side is that Pakistan is trying to, I would even use the word misuse, its nuclear capability. And we saw evidence of this in Kargil in 1999, when Pakistan tried to use its nascent nuclear weapon capability, and it tried to blackmail both India and the global community.
Although Jammu and Kashmir lies at the northernmost edge of India, many commentators have maintained that Kashmir lies in the very heart of India's secular future. For centuries, this land has been celebrated for its immense beauty. one Mughal emperor was moved to exclaim, "Ghar firdaus barru'e zami ast, hami asto, hami asto, hami ast." If there is paradise on earth, it is this, it is this, it is this. Today, if this paradise has to be regained in more than mere geographical terms, one thing's certain: militancy and sponsored terrorism must be brought to a halt. This will require a vision where political leaders in both countries learn to transcend man-made barriers of bigotry, religion, and politics.